إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. طيب يا إخوة, Riya, we spoke about Riya last week. What is Riya?
Showing off.
Just okay, it's a translation. What? Elaborate a bit more.
To be seen or to be heard.
Okay, so Riya is taken from which word? Good to know that word. Remember the word? تعرف? Riya is taken from the word ru'ya, seeing. So based on this word, understanding is that people show up, for people can see it, so they can be praised. Iyad billah. And also another way of showing off is how, Azhar?
By listening.
Sum'a, yani sum'a, they want people to hear it and they want the praise from the people. So maybe leading the salah and he's beautifying the Quran, so the intention is to people to hear it and say, MashaAllah. So that's Riya, we covered Riya. Riya is a major sin or minor sin? Minor. Okay, what do you think? No, Azhar?
You mentioned there's two types. Al-Munafiqeen is Shirk Akbar, and for the Muslims is Shirk Asghar, which is major sin.
Okay, major. So Riya of the Munafiqeen is major because they don't believe in Allah, but they do it to show off to the people. That's major, yeah. Minor is which one?
Shirk Asghar.
Asghar. Which one you said that أخوف ما خاف عليكم الشرك الأصغر فسئل قال رسول الرياء. Prophet said, what I fear for you most, minor shirk, what is that? Is showing off. طيب.
How would someone avoid that? How would someone avoid that?
Question we'll leave at end, inshallah. Let me just start the class, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, before the Isha. Okay. باب من أطاع العلماء والأمراء في تحريم ما أحل الله أو تخليل ما حرمه الله فقد اتخذهم أربابا من دون الله. طيب. Today, inshallah, we'll cover another topic which is very important topic, inshallah, which is the Shaykh says, whoever obeys the scholars and the leaders, the evil scholars and the evil leaders in prohibitions which Allah made halal and in what Allah made halal and they made it haram. And whoever does that, this is taking Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jalla. So today we'll talk about istihlal. Istihlal. Now, what does istihlal mean? The ulama says that Ibn Qayyim said, هو الذي يفعل ذنبا معتقدا حله. That إغاثة lahfan, yeah. The Ibn Qayyim said that a person does a sin and he believes it is halal. That's istihlal. So if someone does an act which is sin and he believes in his heart, then it is istihlal. And even if he doesn't do the act, that's istihlal. Now istihlal, the ulama have said that are two types. Istihlal, which is related to the, I've covered this before, istihlal badaniya and i'tiqadiya. Istihlal badaniya is that, the hadith the Prophet mentioned is that there'll come a time, people from my ummah, yani they're Muslims, okay, they'll make these things halal. Zina, silk, gambling, drinking khamar, and music. The Prophet said they will make it halal. So the ulama have explained this hadith. They say that from the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, yani the Muslims, they will make it halal, yani physically they make it halal, yani amaliya, in the action they will make it halal. Okay, they will just drink khamar, they will drink, they'll fornicate, يعني they do major sins, it's like adi for them, normal for them, being alcoholic, being fornicator, or iyadu billah. So these major sins, they will do it, okay, they will continue to do this, it's like halal for them. But the niyyah, okay, in the action it is halal. Second type of halal, istihlal, i'tiqadiyah, which is Ibn Qayyim saying that someone does major sins and believes it is halal. Okay, that's istihlal. Okay, and this is major kufr. Now, Shaykh mentioned this chapter today because it is an important chapter that contradicts our aqidah when it comes to halal and haram. And as you all know that we worship Allah Azza wa Jal, doing what Allah made halal and leave what Allah made haram. Like a companion came and said, Ya Rasulullah, the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal is so much that we cannot I cannot do everything. So can I do what is halal and leave what Allah made haram? Is that if I don't increase more than that, will I enter Jannah? He said, yes, you will enter Jannah. So the least we should worship Allah by doing what Allah made halal for us and leave what Allah made haram for us. Okay? So this is the ibadah. And halal and haram is only for Allah and His Messenger. Only Allah makes things halal and He makes haram. Okay? So for someone to, human being, a scholar, which we're talking about ulama are not upon Quran and Sunnah, the evil scholars and the leaders, they come and make halal into haram, haram into halal. This is taking the godhood on themselves. If a ruler says now, khamar is halal now, A'udhu billah, this is Allah made it halal, haram, you make it halal. Okay? This is making andad, arbab min dunillah. Okay? You're making Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's what we're going to cover today, inshallah. The fundamental of our aqidah. Tayyib. Now when it comes to, I want to mention something else as well, inshallah, istihlal. Istihlal can be sometime, what can happen is that when it comes to istihlal, someone can make something istihlal, considered to be halal, based on ta'weel, based on tafsir. The person must have deduced an evidence from the Quran and made a mistake, and they excuse for that. Okay, let me give you an example of one of the companion, Qudama bin Mad'un. One of the companion, and there were other ones, other Muslims, companions that drank khamr, okay, believing it is halal. Okay, so this Sahabi radiallahu anhu fought in Battle of Badr, Battle of Uhud, Qudama. Okay, so we shouldn't think ill about the companion. So Umar radiallahu anhu lashed him, this companion. And when he drank the khamr, he said, what made you drink khamr? Ya Qudama. And he derived his ruling from the Quran. And Allah said, ليس على الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جناح فيما طعموا. Yeah, ليس عليكم جناح ليس على الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جناح فيما طعموا. Okay, so it is not haram for those who believe and do righteous action. Okay, فيما طعموا, يعني in what they taste. So if they believe, there's no harm for them to taste anything, taste, eat, drink. As long as they're believers and they do righteous action, there is no harm on them to taste food, or eat, drink food, or drink whatever, or eat food. It's not haram on them. So he says, okay, I'm a believer, I do righteous action. So Allah said, nothing wrong tasting food. So that means khamr is halal for me. Okay? He took the evidence from this ayah, made istinbat, and he made it halal on himself. He believed actually it's halal based on the ayah of the Quran. Okay? Obviously, we know khamr is haram, but he made this istihalla li nafsi, and he considered it halal for himself. But obviously, Umar gave him the punishment, and plus he explained to him, and he never went back to this thing being halal. So he was forgiven, he was overlooked because of his ta'wil, tafsir he made was mistaken. So see the istihlal he made based on the ayah, he misunderstood the ayah. Okay? Shaykhul-Islam said, Ibn Taymiyyah, اتفق أهل العلم على عدم تكفير قدامى. That the Ahlul Ilm have agreed that Qudama is not a kafir based on what he has done. But he made mistake. So istihlal can happen. Somebody making ra'i, having an opinion based on Quran and Sunnah, but he can make mistake, like happened here as well. طيب. So we're going to discuss this topic inshallah today. So first of all, let's go over the evidence inshallah. So you've understood what istihlal is. To do an act, believing it is halal. قال ابن عباس رضي الله عنه يوشك أن تنزل عليكم حجارة من السماء أقول قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وتقولون قال أبو بكر وعمر. Now this hadith or athar of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said that it was about that the stone will come out from the heaven, will come down from the heaven. I'm saying what Prophet said, and you're telling me Abu Bakr and Umar. Another hadith says, Naha Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr and Umar forbade. Now this is talking about Hajj. Talking about Hajj. Okay? Now Ibn Abbas telling the people, Hajj al-Tamattu is better, because Prophet said so. They're saying, no, Abu Bakr and Umar said Hajj al-Ifrad. Now Hajj, we have three types. Three types of Hajj. Hajj Tamattu, which is that you go to Hajj, you make Umrah, okay? You take the Ihram off and you wait for the Hajj. Yatamatta', yani he relax, he enjoys. He take the Ihram off, relax. Then Hajj al-Ifrad is that you don't make Umrah, you just make Hajj. This is what the people saying, Abu Bakr, Umar, their recommendation. And Hajj al-Qiran is that you make Umrah and you keep the Ihram on until the Hajj finishes. Qiran, you join it. So the Ihram doesn't come off. You keep on Ihram, you make the Hajj, after Tahallul, you first Jamarat, you take the Ihram off. But it's long wait, isn't it? But this is very tough. So Ibn Abbas saying that, but this is not just for this Hajj, it's a general principle. We do not follow opinion of anyone than living the Hadith of Prophet ﷺ. So Ibn Abbas saw this is a huge thing. I'm telling you Prophet, you're telling me Abu Bakr and Umar. But there's some of the Imam in Salaf, Imam Malik, Ibn Shaykhul-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, they preferred Hajjul Ifrad. You do know why they said that? Because if you do Hajjul Ifrad, then you might want to come back for Umrah again. So for the greater maslahah. Okay, that's another issue. They believe that. But here he's talking to the people. He's saying, Prophet said Tamattu is better. You're telling me Abu Bakr and Umar said Ifrad. Okay, so there are many hadiths where Prophet praised Abu Bakr and Umar. Even then we cannot follow them when it's contradictory to the hadith of Prophet. There's a hadith where the Prophet said that اقتدوا بالذين بعدي Abu Bakr and Umar, after me follow two people, Abu Bakr and Umar. Okay, so this hadith talking about Hajj, okay, that we should implement everything according to the Prophet and we should not reject the hadith, even Abu Bakr and even Umar. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu telling the people that we should not follow anyone except the Sunnah. Also we understand from that is that something we can add to this is taqleed. Can we make taqleed in Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal? We shouldn't be muqallid. Muqallid, the ulama says, differed on the ahkam al-taqleed. But let me explain what taqleed is, what the ulama have said, what they have defined as what taqleed is. Some of the ulama said taqleed, like Imam Shawkani said, عمل بقول الغير من غير حجة. To follow a statement of somebody without any hujjah. This is Imam Shawkani said, okay, in his book. Some of the scholars said that Shaykh Abdul Hamid mentioned in his Sharh Kitab at-Tawheed, when he explained Kitab at-Tawheed, this chapter, some of the scholars says that تقليدنا قبول القول القائل من غير ذكر حجة للسائل. He said that taqleed is to accept a statement of a person, okay, without mentioning evidence for the questioner. So if a questioner comes to me now and said, Ya Ustadh, does eating camel meat breaks your wudu? Does eating camel meat breaks your wudu? I said, yes, it does. And he went. Did I give him evidence? No, I didn't give him evidence. Who is he following now? يقلدني, he's blind following me. That's what the Shaykh saying. Sa'il came, you never gave him evidence. He just took your word and he went. That's muqallid. Okay? So that's what taqlid is. So the Shaykh says that, Shaykh Abdul Hamid mentioned, mashallah, he said that taqlid is sifatul mushrikeen. It's the attribute of the mushrik. They are way of the mushrik. When Prophet came to the Quraysh, alayhi salam, and he told them Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal, they did not accept Quran and Sunnah. What did they do? They made taqlid of their forefathers. And Allah said, Inna wajadna aba'ana ala ummatin wa inna ala atharihim muhtadun. That Allah said about the mushrik of the Quraysh, we have found our forefathers upon millah or ummah. Inna wajada abana ala ummatin. Ummah here means their faith, yani their polytheist. We found our forefathers upon that faith, ummah. Okay? And we will follow their way. So they blind followed their forefathers and they did not take the Quran and the Sunnah. So the ulama says that it is a way of the mushrik to make taqleed. And taqleed, aslan, in Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, is not allowed. We don't make taqleed. Okay? The ulama says, people are three types. Okay? People are three types. One is alim, a shaykh, a scholar, where he can derive ruling from the Quran and Sunnah. So he can't blind follow. He's a alim. Then you have a talibul ilm, strong talibul ilm, but he's not a alim, but he can read the aqwal ulama, saying of the ulama, and he can come to conclusion what the qawl rajih, best opinion can be. He can research, find out what the haqq is. Okay? So he should not do blind following. The third person is the ammi, a public layman. Okay? He is ignorant about the deen. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymin says that ammi, layman, should do blind following. Wajib on him, because he doesn't understand. He's not a faqih. He can't comprehend things. Okay? He can't derive anything. He should blind follow. That's his opinion, Shaykhuna Alim Ibn Uthaymin. But Ammi at least should do this. When Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. What did Allah say? بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالزُّبُرِ. With clarification and scriptures, whatever in the books is. Okay? So at least Ammi, yes, okay, he doesn't know anything, but at least he should ask for evidences. What is the proof? As long as the sanad, you'll understand. If the Shaykh explains, you'll understand. He's not that uneducated. So he should at least ask evidence, not blind follow the Shaykh, but at least get the evidence. But yeah, the asl of taqleed, the basic of taqleed, the asl, the foundation is that it is not allowed in Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. We have to follow the Quran and the Sunnah. So these are the levels of people, and generally it's not allowed to do taqleed. But some of the scholars have laid the principle that the ammi, layman, they've got no choice but to do taqleed. But we say, okay, do taqleed, but do not sacrifice or do not follow Imam and reject the hadith. A lot of people say, I'm so and so madhab, I follow certain madhab, I'm not going to follow the hadith because of my madhab. A'udhu billah. So it can be haram because you rejecting hadith for sake of your madhab. طيب. And you will never find in the Salaf the call to madhab. اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء. Allah said, follow what is revealed to you, to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from your Lord, and do not follow the awliya. Awliya, the righteous people, do not follow them, okay? But follow the Quran and the Sunnah. And if you don't know, ask, and ask for the evidences. That's it. So this athar is talking about Hajj. But Shaykh says it's not only Hajj, but in anything we have to follow Quran and Sunnah. So Hajj, we should take tamattu'. But if you want to do ifrad, you can do ifrad. If you want to do qiran, you can do qiran. But Ibn Abbas, he was upset because I'm giving you hadith, you're giving me Abu Bakr and Umar. Shaykh Muqbil was said that if I were to blindfold anyone, I would blindfold Abu Bakr and Umar, but not anyone else. But even the blind following is not allowed. We should not try and blindfold, try and follow the Quran. طيب قال إمام أحمد بن حنبل عجبت لقوم عرفوا الإسناد وصحته يذهبون إلى رأي سفيان. Imam Ahmad said that I am surprised regarding the people who know the isnad and the authenticity of it, but they follow the opinion of Sufyan. Sufyan is one of the great scholars from Ahlul Sunnah, Imam. So Imam Ahmad then he quotes the verse فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ أَنْ تُصِيبَهُمْ فِتْنَةٌ أَنْ يُصِيبَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. So Allah in this ayah is mentioning, Surah At-Tawbah 63, they warn the people, those goes against my command. So the ulama use that command of Allah is wajib. Okay, why? Because Allah said that the punishment will come down on them and fitna will come down on these people. The adab and fitna will come down on them. Why? Because they've left the command of Allah. Left the command shows that command of Allah is wajib for to be followed based on this ayah. So Imam Ahmad explained, now what is this fitna? The fitna is shirk. لعله إذا رد بعض قوله أن يقع في قلبه شيء من زيغ فيهلك. That Imam Ahmad said that, do you know what fitna is? They said, then he said fitna is shirk. If they were to reject the command of Allah Azza wa Jal, then the shirk might زيغ يعني زيغ deviancy, shirk, they might afflict their heart if you leave the command of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? Allah will put it could be doubt in your heart or any deviation in your heart. You know, you may reject the haqq. So this fitna is shirk. That will afflict the person if you are to leave the command of Allah Azza wa Jal. So don't blind follow Sufyan, Thawri, or any ulama of the Salaf, but follow the command of Allah Azza wa Jal and the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب. وعن عدي بن هاتم, Adi, one of the companions. Now this story took place before he only became Muslim. Okay? Adi radiallahu anhu, أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقرأ هذه الآية. So he heard this ayah now. Okay? Prophet is reciting. And that reminded him, it hurted him. Allah said, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. Okay? They've taken the rabbis and the monks, Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal. So ahbar refers to the Jews and the ruhban refers to the Christian, they are monks. Now here, arbab means is the plural of Rabb. They've taken Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal. But actually, the word Rabb, Ar-Rabb and Al-Ilah, two names of Allah Azza wa Jal, it refers to Ma'bud. Ma'bud. You've taken Lord, yes, but you've worshipped someone beside Allah Azza wa Jal. So when you have these two names, Rabb and Ilah, two names of Allah Azza wa Jal, the scholars have said that إِذَا اجْتَمَعُوا افترقوا. إِذَا افترقوا اجْتَمَعُوا. That if their two names are mentioned together, then Rabb means the Lord, the Creator, the Provider, the Sustainer. And Ilah means Ma'bud, the one who deserves the worship. But if one is mentioned, the other including that. So here, Rabb, when Allah said Arbab, means Ma'bud. The uluhiyah of Allah, he comes into that meaning, including that meaning. Okay? Like in the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, when he says that, when the person is buried, what does the Malakul Maut says? Man Rabbuk. What does he say? Rabbi Allah. So Rabb, that include the meaning of Allah. It automatically comes in there. If you believe Allah is the Lord, you should be worshipping Him. That's why they said that Rububiyyah mustalzim al-uluhiyyah wal-uluhiyyah mutadammin al-rububiyyah. They said that Rububiyyah mustalzim, it necessitates uluhiyyah, meaning that if you believe Allah is the Lord of the heaven and the earth, you should worship Him. You have to worship Him. And if you worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone, then you have to believe Allah is the Lord of the heaven and the earth. He's the creator, He's the provider, He's the sustainer. Okay? So here when Allah said, Arbab min dunillah, they've taken Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal, yani ma'bud. Ma'bud. So which means that when the Jews and the Christians, they've taken the rabbis and the monks, Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal, meaning they worship them. In what? Halal and haram. Okay? And we have mentioned that in Islam, we have to worship Allah, doing what Allah made halal, leave what Allah made haram. So here is istihlal. That's what we're going to talk about now. So Allah's talking about the Jews and the Christian. And Adi bin Hatim, before he became Muslim, he was a Jew. Okay? So he reminded him. So he says, so Adi bin Hatim, he says that, فَقُلْتُ لَهُ, to Rasulullah, إِنَّا لَسْنَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ. Indeed, we did not worship them. So Adi says this because he thought worshipping means to make sajda to idols or to human beings. That's the only worship. But Prophet said, أَلَيْسَ يُحَرِّمُونَ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ فَتُحَرِّمُونَهُ وَيُحِلُّونَ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ وَتُحِلُّونَهُ. Okay, he said, isn't that they make haram what Allah made halal, and you are making haram? And they were making halal what Allah made haram, and you making halal? فَقُلْتُ بَلَا. He said, Sahaba said, yes, surely what you've just said, Ya Rasulullah, we did that. Then he said, فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَتُهُمْ. Then that is your worship. So he explained that worship doesn't have to be making sajda to idols. You never did that, yes. But when they made halal into haram, haram into halal, you followed that. And he said, yes. So that's your worship. You've worshipped them. Okay? Because halal and haram is only for Allah. So when you have a ruler, and he makes the halal into haram, haram into halal, okay? Okay? Then that becomes ibadah. Now when it comes to this mas'ala, okay, Shaykhul-Islam, he explained this in detail in Majmul Fatawa. He said, درجة الأولى أن يطيع العلماء أو الأمراء في تبديل الدين. That he follows the scholars, evil scholars, and the leaders in changing of the deen. يعني في جعل الحرام حلالا أو في جعل الحلال haram. يعني making haram into halal and halal into haram. Changing the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. فيطيعهم في تبديل الدين. They follow them in that changing of that deen. وهو يعلم أن الحرام قد حرم الله. That he knows that haram, this Allah made it haram. ولكن أطاعهم تعظيما لهم. But he follows them, يعني the public follows them to glorify them. فأحل ما أحلوا طاعة لهم. So when they make halal, he makes it halal as well to obey them. So when the ruler makes it halal, the public he follows. Okay, you made it halal, we follow you in that halal to glorify them. اعتقد أنه حلال. Look at this. He believes it is halal. وهو حرام في نفسه. But he believes it's haram. But because the leader made it halal, he says halal. Okay? To follow them. وهو يعلم أن ما حرموه حلال. But he knows also that what they made haram is halal. لكنه حرم تبعا لتحريمهم. But he made it follow this haram just to follow them. And he believed this is halal, but they're following the rulers. Okay? So this, the Shaykh says, هذا يكون قد أطاع العلماء أو علماء في تبديل أصل الدين. So he's following the rulers and the evil people, the scholars, in the fundamental of the deen. Okay? فهذا هو الذي اتخذهم أرباب. Then he has taken him as a Lord beside Allah. وهو الكفر الأكبر الشرك الأكبر بالله. And that's the major kufr, a major shirk. So what is this first category is that he follows them believing it is halal. He believing this tahrim they're making, he believes it's tahrim, it's haram. Or whatever is halal. He believes that. No one forcing the person. He does according to his own accord. That person is kafir. Okay? The second level is that أن يطيع الحبرة أن يطيع الأميرة. He follows the scholars, evil scholars, and he follows the leaders. Okay, في تحريم in halal, in making tahrim halal and haram. He follows them in that. أطاع وهو يعلم أنه عاصٍ. Okay, he follows them in that, but he knows he's a sinner. Okay, and he has knowledge of these sins, but he follows them in actions. وقلبه لم يجعل حلالا حراما. But in his heart he doesn't believe that. So the ruler makes it haram into halal, but he doesn't believe that is what they're doing, but he's just following his nafs. He's just following his nafs, just to follow that person. ولكن أطاعهم حبا له في المعصية. Maybe he's following them having love for the sin. He loves the sins, he follows it. Nowadays young boys, they like to follow things, follow their desires, even though it's haram. And they know it's haram, but I'm just going to do it, So Shaykhul-Islam says, so these are second categories. So he doesn't believe that halal into haram, haram into halal. He doesn't believe it at all. He knows Allah made it haram and Allah made it halal. But he just following desire. I get benefit in the dunya. Maybe I get benefit in the dunya. Inshallah. This is regarding the public. So when the ruler makes things haram into halal, halal into haram, the local public, they fall into these two categories. Okay. As for the ruler, if he makes it halal, into haram, haram into halal, believing is allowed for him to do that. Okay, it's halal for him to do that. It's halal for him to change the law of Allah. Then the ruler becomes a kafir, no doubt. But if he does it, he says, I don't believe this is what I'm doing is right, it's wrong, but I'm just doing it to please the public, whatever, and what I'm doing is wrong, very wrong. But this is istihlal amaliya now. Because the amaliya, action, okay? He's doing it, he's still Muslim, then he's a Muslim. Because he doesn't believe what he's doing is halal, he believes haram. I'm just doing it for benefit of my country, for the people. So that's the reason I'm doing it. So this is what istihlal is. This is a chapter we covered today, my brothers, and this is quite important. So what we'll do, I'll take the questions before the muaddin comes to give adhan, because we're going to have some time for the Q&A. Jazakumullah khair. Okay, any questions, any clarification you want to do, ikhwah, let me know, inshallah. Any questions? No?
Where you said a person that they made a mistake where Umar left the companion for drinking
Qudama,
alcohol. You said that he thought it was halal, but like they explained it to him.
Yeah.
So because he was ignorant, why did he still get the punishment?
He got the punishment because he's Haadi al-Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. He's a Khalifa. Umar is a Khalifa al-Mu'mineen, and he got the punishment because he fell into this. He got had maybe lash whatever because he fell into the haram. That's why. So because of the ma'asiyah he has done, he had to go through the had, radiyallahu anhu. But yes, this is Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla, isn't it? After that, he did not go back to it. But the point we're trying to say is that from the lesson we've taken is that someone can make something, do istihlal from doing tafsir like this and make mistake. And he made the mistake and he realized he was wrong, and he never went back to that. So this is the benefit we take from that.
As regards Hajj, Ustad, so is there a difference of opinion which Hajj is the best?
No, the Prophet said tamattu.
Which one's that?
Tamattu, we just explained that you go to make Umrah.
You know why I said it, Ustad? Basically, so maybe Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu didn't know what Umar radiallahu anhu and Abu Bakr Siddiq knew. Maybe he wasn't aware of it. Maybe Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam could have given him a different answer. Maybe could that be the case?
No, that's what the hadith saying. Ibn Abbas telling the people tamattu, what Prophet said, and they're quoting Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr, Umar, what did they say? Ifrad. Ifrad is they just make Hajj. Just make Hajj. And Ibn Taymiyyah believes as well.
Why I said that, Ustad? You know, I did Hajj with your group. Brother Yasin, when he was doing the Hajj session, he said the other one is more rewarding because there's more physical, there's more to do. Like it's more difficult. The more difficult the worship, the more reward there is. This is what he said.
What's the evidence for that?
Allahu Alam, Ustad. He said
Now this hadith talking about tamattu. Prophet advised tamattu. Okay, you make Umrah, you take ihram off, you relax, and then you make Hajj. So the people said that Abu Bakr said Ifrad, and Umar said Ifrad. So then he said, I'm telling you, Rasulullah, you give him Abu Bakr and Umar. He doesn't say it's haram to do it. La. He said, take what Rasulullah said, that's the best thing to do. But if you want to do Ifrad, no problem, you can do Ifrad. And this opinion Imam Malik and Ibn Taymiyyah followed as well. And there's a reason behind that. This is their understanding, is that if you make Ifrad just to Hajj, then you might come back for Umrah one day. So you keep coming back to Mecca. If you've done Umrah, I've done Umrah, khalas. You have to go back again. So that's why they said, do Ifrad, come back for Umrah another day. But there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But this is what the hadith is talking about. It's Hajj. But it's not only just Hajj, but generally we should take hadith over Abu Bakr's opinion and Umar's opinion. So this talking about tamattu and Ifrad. That's what the people quoting Abu Bakr and Umar. But they said Ifrad. Maybe they didn't know the hadith, but Abu Bakr, Ibn Abbas telling the people, this is what Prophet said. Tamattu. Go for tamattu. Is it okay?
yeah, that's fine, Ustad.
Last week in Umrah we spoke about Ibn Mas'ud's narration about Salah and not doing Raful Yadayn. If someone says Abu Hanifa, he authenticates this hadith, is he a mutakallid of Abu Hanifa?
We do anyway. This hadith is not authentic anyway, and this hadith Ibn Mas'ud and Bara bin Azib. This hadith is not authentic. Scholars have made da'if. The illah in the hadith. There's illah. This weakness in the hadith. Two reasons there weakness in the hadith. One of them is inqita in the sanad. Okay, Sulaiman bin Wardan reports from Ibn Shihab, Zuhri. They never met. So there's inqita in the sanad. Okay, then the two narrators never met each other. So both of the narration is weak anyway. But that is the type of muqallid. But all the respect, I mean, no Ahl Sunnah from the Salaf, Yahya bin Ma'in, Imam Ahmad, great alim, ulama like that, they never ever made this hadith to be authentic. Hadith is weak. Daraqutni made it weak as well. Haadi ibn Mas'ud and Bara bin Azib. The authentic hadith that we know, Ibn Umar told us that an Aisha, the Prophet raised the hand, opening the takbir, going to the ruku and coming from the ruku. Okay, this has been practiced by the companions, Umar, Ali, Sahal bin Sa'ad, Abu Huraira. 30 companions report the raising the hand, opening of the salah, going to the ruku, coming from the ruku. Okay, mutawatir hadith. Shaykh Sa'ad al-Shitri, Shaykh Shanqiti, they mention in the tafsir when they explain the hadith. So it is common, the raising the hand, going to ruku, coming back from the ruku. Okay, so the hadith ibn Masud is weak. It's weak hadith. It's illa in there. Sheikh Badi wrote a whole commentary on Raful Yadayn Imam Bukhari. Sheikh Badi, and he brings the hadith and brings the sanad. It's a weak in the hadith. In qita, there's a cut in the sanad. Two narrators never met each other. So we don't follow that. Yeah, that's hadith weak. Yeah. It's okay. Any more, inshallah?
You know, you said about blind following. So, you know, I heard that from someone that if you blind follow in Aqidah, like, is that kufr?
Aqidah, we're not allowed to blind follow Aqidah. Aqidah, Shaykhul-Islam also mentioned in Taymiyyah, the Aqidah we have to take from the text, nusus. Directly we study. We don't blind follow anyone in Aqidah. Because this is our belief. It's Aqidah. This is what makes us Muslims. So we have to study the Aqidah. That's what we're doing. Aqidah. We have to be taken from the books and learn from the books. We don't blind follow those things. Yeah. We don't.
For a lay person, is it okay to follow like a scholar?
Even laymen have to learn. He has to learn the deen. Just because he's lay, I mean, even scholars were laymen once, and they learned and they became what they became. Fudayl bin Iyad was a high robbery man. He used to burgle houses. He had no knowledge of the deen. Allah guided him, became a great imam. Ibn Mubarak used to play tabla or guitar or something like that. Allah guided him, became a great imam. So you can't, people cannot just say Ammi, but Ammi, if you want to say Ammi, then you're going to be Ammi, isn't it? Layman. But you go learn the deen and come up from the layman to student knowledge or something like that. So, if he's a layman, then even layman can't blind follow Aqidah. It's our deen. We have to learn Aqidah books and know what we're believing, what we believe about Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, a lot of Muslims, our public layman Muslims, there's Allah everywhere. They haven't learned, but they should learn, isn't it? Books are there to be studied. So we cannot blind follow Aqidah. Never. We shouldn't. And either okay, yeah? Aqidah we have to learn from the books. Yeah, or Iman.
Sort of thing was like, say like the major scholars like Shaykh Fawzan, Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, is it okay for us to like take it? Like,
yeah, no doubt. We take it from them. They are scholars. We take it from them, yes. But if they even will tell you, don't blind follow us, Aqidah, learn the Aqidah book. Because scholars are taught the books. We have to take it from the books. Yeah. And going back to what the brother said about raising the hand, just remember Imam Bukhari, Ibn Hajar mentioned in Fathul Bari that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, when he sees a person doesn't the raising of the hand, I think I mentioned that he will throw pebbles, small pebbles, to say raise your hand. Don't miss raising your hand. Some of the Salaf says wajib, because Prophet never left it. Muadhiba. He consistently did the same thing until he died. So the ulama say if something the Prophet did all the time becomes mandub. You know, the grading goes up. So raising the hand is something we should do, inshallah. But if you don't do it, it doesn't nullify salah. But Prophet always did that. And Sa'id bin Jubair said, raising the hand in salah is the beauty of the salah. Beauty of the salah. And so, inshallah, we'll cover this more in Umda.
What's the difference of opinion as well for the at-Tawheed? So some people do what's the difference?
The narrations are different narrations regarding this is more stronger and this is more shadh, but Sheikh Muqbil makes this more authentic than the shaking the finger like this. But ala kulli hal, I mean either of them, if you do this one, I never seen the hadith. This one pointing a finger, hadith of Ibn Umar, Abdul Zubayr, and the Prophet who would do that, make a circle and keep his finger straight and keep his eyes on the finger. This is what we know, strong hadith here. And until you give salam. And you can do that as well. This is Shaykh Albani authenticate the hadith. But making a circle, I haven't read that. So either of them you do, inshallah, but this is more stronger. Yeah, keeping your finger firm, straight. Yeah, and keeping your eyes on it.
So about the Dajjal stuff, is he one-eyed or does he have two eyes? Or is there a difference of opinion?
No, A'waj. Hadith says that in Lisan al-Arab, Ibn Mandur said, when something is A'waj, A'waj mean two eyes, one blind. That's what Hadith said. In الدجال أعوج وليس وربك ليس بأعوج. Okay, that Dajjal is blind. A'waj is not blind, deformed.
So why I said that?
Let me finish, inshallah. Deformed, and your Lord has two eyes; they're not deformed. So basically, A'waj, when you use for Allah A'waj, ليس بأعوج, Allah is not A'waj, meaning He has two eyes that befits Allah. And when Dajjal was described as A'waj, meaning he has two eyes, one is deformed. There's two hadiths, one in Bukhari Muslim, one says the right eye is deformed, one says the left eye is deformed. So deformed means it's bulging, big grapes, it's very ugly, his eyes, and one is, he can't, and the other one is something wrong with it, he can't see it properly. So one is deformed, either right or left is deformed, and he can see with the other one. Okay, the one he can see with the other one is still ugly, but one is bulging. Yeah. So deformed. That's one eye deformed. Dajjal is one eye deformed eye, something like that. One with deformed eyes.
Okay, so he's got two eyes, but one is
Deformed. Yeah, yeah. So A'waj mean, as Ibn Mandur said, in Arab, two eyes, one is deformed. So when we negate A'waj from Allah, we negate it from Allah, meaning that He has two eyes that befits Him. Yeah. Anyway. See you next week.